What's up, parents? If you believe that group coaching won't work for your teen for the SAT, I need you guys to watch this video. So many parents come to me and they tell me that group tutoring doesn't work for my kid. Group tutoring doesn't work for my kid. And there is a correct way to do group classes, guys. I'm gonna show you exactly what types of group classes you should avoid and how to know that your group tutoring center is actually doing a good job. For those of you guys who don't know me yet, my name is Jared Wynn. I am the founder and director of Geometry Gurus SAT Prep, and I've helped hundreds of students increase their SAT scores so that they can go to their dream colleges or qualify for scholarships. Now, let's get straight into it, guys. A lot of parents, a lot of students are like, group tutoring does not work for us because they went to a different prep center or something like that and they had a pretty bad experience. Okay, now they're thinking that, it's impossible to raise their scores. Well, if that was true, and if group tutoring doesn't work, then my company would not have seen people increase their scores by 100, sometimes more than 200 and 250 points. Okay, so here's why most programs and most companies, they run group classes wrong. Now, let me preface this by saying that, hey, I acknowledge that you sacrifice a little bit, some sort of personalization in group tutoring. However, there is a right and a wrong way to conduct these sessions. Okay, so here's why most programs aren't doing it right. Number one, no personalized assignments. So a lot of programs, they make it so that every single student goes through the same exact homework. What does that mean? First of all, that doesn't make any sense, but because every student has their own weaknesses, guys. So Timmy, for example, should not be doing the same homework as Gabriella because they have different weaknesses. Just because you guys are doing the same lesson does not necessarily mean you should be doing the same homework. Your homework should be targeting your specific weaknesses. They should be based on the 64 SAT concepts that you're getting incorrect or the ones that you're spending too much time on. Typically, it's a combination of both. So guys, if your test prep center that you're working with right now is giving everyone the same homework, that's probably why you're seeing not a lot of progress for your particular team. Okay. Number two, lack of interactivity. A lot of people tell me, right? They're like, "Oh, we went to so-and-so company and it was like 30 people in a room, 35 people in a room, and no one had their cameras on, and we couldn't even ask questions until the end." Okay? A lot of these programs are lecture style. There's no interactivity involved. These students can't really interact with the instructor, can't interact with other students. They can't even ask questions until the end. And they're not very involved in the problem solving. The teacher's just like writing on the board, and then the student's just like, right, bored out of their mind because they're not actively participating. So if they're talking the entire time, your student is just not going to be engaged. They're just not going to want to be there. Now, the correct way to do this, and the way we do this with our students, is that we make sure that every single student participates in this session. This way they're very involved. We tell them to ask questions when we're doing work. We tell them to answer questions, right, in a very engaging learning environment. So for example, if student number one doesn't understand a question when we call them, student number two can very easily come in and explain it to them. Now, what do you think that does for the environment? Number one, it shows people that you should not be scared to make mistakes, but also student number one who doesn't understand it, they get to see it from somebody else who's not the instructor. But student number two, they're able to, explain it to somebody else. And what do you think it does to their confidence? And what do you think it does to their understanding of the material if they were able to explain it to somebody else? They're going to understand it that much better. Okay, so we want to make sure that everyone's engaged, and also if you call on students, then it keeps them on their toes. They have to pay attention. Now, next thing, this kind of goes in with number two. The next reason why a lot of group classes aren't right is the large group class sizes. This one should be a no-brainer, guys. If you have more than 20 people, sometimes even more than 15 people, then you shouldn't have, this is not a group session anymore. This is now a lecture hall, okay? It's almost impossible to tackle every single person's weaknesses when you have that many students in one room. Not to mention, your student isn't gonna be able to participate or ask questions when it's so packed, right? So you can't do like the interactivity when you have like 30 people in a single room, right? A lot of you guys have students that go to public schools. And public schools, right, you're in 30-person classrooms. The dude in the back isn't getting called on. The dude in the back isn't isn't answering questions or getting involved, right? And what do you think happens to his grades? Same thing here. Okay. The next reason is that, or to go back, we've seen that the sweet spot is around 10 students, no more than 10 students. If you have more than 10 students in a class, you're going to hit those issues. Okay. Number 4, no additional ways to receive support. For majority of these programs, you can just go to, the only time you get help is when you are in the classroom. Okay. And you have to wait a whole nother week or a whole another few days in order to get additional help. So like if you're stuck on something outside of class, then you're kind of out of luck. You got to wait until the next time, and you're probably not even going to get your questions answered then. Now, if you're stuck, if you have questions, the best way I've seen to work around this is my team has multiple weekly office hours and 7-day-a-week private support chats. So in these office hours, they can come in, they can ask whatever questions that they want. And most importantly, right, like if they're having issues on a certain concept, we can walk them through outside of class. And now with the 7-day-a-week support as well, they just type in their Slack private support channel, and then we send them a video on how to do certain problems that they're sending out. Okay, so if your program doesn't currently have ways to get additional support outside of class, then that's an issue, guys. You got to make sure that you address that right away. Okay, now, last but not least, now I know this kind of, this might be a little ironic, but the reason why a lot of group classes don't work is because they lack one-on-one sessions to fill in the gaps. Now, again, guys, like I mentioned before, with group sessions, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of personalization student per student. That's why you need to have one-on-one sessions in a structured environment to help identify and help attack your teen's biggest weaknesses that aren't exposed as much in the group, okay? So we need to make sure that we place one-on-one sessions in key points of their journey so that we can continuously adapt their plan, but most importantly, unveil some weaknesses that they have and plug in the holes in a holistic way. So then group tutoring, right? You're attacking your weaknesses there, and you might have a little bit of holes here and there. Now this is where the one-on-one tutoring comes in, so we can plug in those holes and attack those holes. Okay, we typically do, for the people who are in our group programs, we typically say one-on-one sessions. We do one-on-one session a month, right, to plug in those holes. So what does that do? Again, you have the holistic journey, right? You have like the group sessions and then the office hours and then the one-on-ones and with the 7-day-a-week support. Those continuously plug in holes so that your teen has all the support that they need to be successful. Okay, so as you can see here, guys, a more hybrid approach is more appropriate for students who are doing one-on-one. I would stray away from group only or one-on-one only. We want to make sure that you guys are in a position where they get the most benefit everywhere. Okay, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions or if you guys want to see how we can help you guys generate a plan based on your teen's exact weaknesses, go ahead and click on the link in my bio and you should be able to book a call with us, right? But hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you ask, okay? Take it easy.